Hello, welcome to the Galen Framework video tutorials. In this tutorial I will show you a really cool feature in Galen Framework which is called custom rules. This feature actually has changed the way I write layout tests. So what this custom rules is all about. It's actually like in any other programming languages. You have the functions or methods which allows you to structure your code and make it more readable, make it reusable. It's the same idea here, but instead of functions, it's actually like writing custom expressions. So you can find it here in the advanced specs custom rules, this section. And the idea is basically that you write a rule, you define a sentence, you define the arguments inside the sentence that the Galen will extract, and then you can reuse those arguments and generate some specs. So therefore you can actually build up your own complex validation for any type of layout and put it just in one sentence, which is really cool. So today I'm gonna show you how to use it, and I propose to try this out on login page. This one is actually a good example. Okay, so before doing some stuff on login page, let's first take a look at the menu, because actually the menu has the most common layout pattern. So take a look at these 4 elements in the menu and think of what is so common about these elements. One thing that I can say right away is these elements are aligned horizontally and they actually have a 0 margin in between. So if you put it in one sentence, it would sound like something like all menu elements are aligned horizontally with 0 pixel margin. So here we go. You already have a good sentence for a custom rule. Let's write it down. I have already prepared a test suite, which will run on 2 devices, mobile and desktop. Login page is accessed using this URL. And I also have prepared the login page.gspec file, which has the menu elements, and it has the login box, the caption item, which is this element, text field, password, login button, and cancel button. So let's start writing the custom rule. So first thing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the custom rule in a separate file. Let me create another file called rules.gspec. This is needed so that we don't have a massive gspec file and so it's not all in one place. And I'm going to import like this, rules gspec. Let me open it in another tab. Okay, we have a rules gspec file and we have a login page gspec menu. So first of all, let's just write the validation for the menu elements, the horizontal alignment, and we'll do it just using the for each loop. So let's say it's going to be something like for each menu item star as item, next as next item, and we will verify that each menu item is aligned horizontally with the next item and that they have a 0 pixel margin. Basically the menu item number 1 is located from the left of menu item number 2. As simple as that. So it's going to be item so that's it. Let's try this one. Simple test. There's some weird error. Oh, wait a second. I forgot. On mobile, it's actually rendered in a table layout, which is different. So let's skip that one. Yeah, that's interesting. We could write a rule for that as well. Actually, I already have written a rule for that. It's in a separate library, but I will show you that later. So let's take a look. So this is the test for desktop, and it has passed. So we check only the menu items. Let me expand it all. So here's what the for each loop has generated. It has checked that each menu item element is located from the left and aligned horizontally with the following item. But this is not that interesting. What I'm interested in is how we could put that into the custom rule. So let's do that. So first of all, I can just take this out and put it in this. Here I will write rule. So right now let me write a rule without any arguments. So it's gonna be like all menu items are aligned horizontally next to each other with 0 pixel margin. As simple as that, without any arguments. So now let's just copy this, and put it like this. Just put a pipe symbol. Oops, I need to remove the rule. So, like this, yeah, that is enough. So pipe symbol in Galen framework means that you want to apply a custom rule. So in this case, it will work like this. It will actually just do exactly the same thing, with little difference. If you open the report, you will see here we have a menu section, and then we also have the statement from the custom rule. So all the validations generated within that rule are reported under this statement, which is actually a very useful feature for the reporting and reading the reports. Because for instance, like when you look at the stuff here, and you see like, oh, menu item 1, align horizontal, oh, menu item 2, and you see like menu item 2 is validated, the third item, like what the hell is going on? And then you can just look up the report branch and you will see, oh yeah, there's the statement. Oh, that's what is tested. So it's actually quite useful. But that's not the real power of custom rules. So now let's generalize this statement. So let me add some arguments to this rule. So let's say I want to apply this rule to also other elements in the page. So first of all, let me just remove this. And instead I want to put an argument. And the argument, you can put it like this. You use a %, then you use the curly brackets, and inside you declare a name of your argument. So let's say item better. It's a good name. So that means that instead of menu item, I will actually put that argument, item better. So what does that mean? Whatever word I put before this statement are aligned horizontally next to each other, Galen framework will parse it into this item pattern variable. Might also use the margin as an argument, like this. Then it means I have to change this one. Oh yeah, sorry, it should be a %, otherwise it will not work. So the % in the rule definition, it means we declare an argument within the sentence. And the $ means we want to use this argument. So now let's update our rule. So instead of this, we'll put menu, item, star. As simple as that. Now let's see how it works. And again, I forgot to put this validation behind the desktop tag, because for mobile it's useless, because you see lots of errors. On mobile it's a table layout, so we should write a separate rule for that. Okay. Let me just expand it all. So here you see this custom rule has changed a little bit. So it's menu item dash star are aligned horizontally, and in this case this first thing was used as an argument and it was passed to the for each loop. So why this is so cool? Here is why. Let me show you. So now I can also check. So let me just put it behind the deck on the desktop. So now I can actually apply exactly the same rule to verify the login button. Let me just copy paste it. The login panel buttons. That's what I'm going to go for. Of course, in this case, it should fail because there's a bigger margin than 0 pixels. It will change. I just want to show you how it fails also. For mobile, we don't have anything, and for desktop, it will launch 2 validations, 2 layout patterns, as I call them. So this is what happens for the login button and cancel button. It applies the exactly same validation as for menu items, so we can use exactly the same expression. But here you see it's 4 pixels instead of 0 pixels here. So we can actually change that as well here with 4 pixel margin. Actually, we can put it like 0 to 4 pixel, it will also work. We can also put another thing like this. Let's give it a variable like minimal margin. Sounds really cool. So like if I don't care if there's a 0 pixel margin or 4 pixel margin, but that's like not that important. Minimal, and we will put it like 0 to 5 pixel. So let's see how that's gonna work out. One more time. Okay, now it works. It is passed, so I'm not going to open the report. Doesn't matter. But let me do one more thing I want to show you. So the custom rule feature is actually not that complex. It really gives you freedom for your imagination. You can come up with any complex statements and you can really make them generic and apply them on all elements. But there is some more interesting stuff you can do on your layout tests. It's called groups. So you can find the groups here, documentation section. Here, object groups. So what object groups allows you, it allows you to create a basically object group, and you can give it a name, and then you can define all object patterns, either comma separated or using the star symbol to apply multiple objects. So the objects that should be grouped under that name. Let's see how that works. So for instance, let's say I don't like this menu dot item dash star because I always have to remember how this object is declared. Another thing I also don't like is login button, comma cancel button. What if I just want to say login buttons? Just in general, like all login buttons are aligned horizontally next to each other because there's only 2 buttons always, so it doesn't matter. And for menu items, I can just say menu items. Let's create those groups. Menu items. It's gonna be menu item star and login. Okay, let's make it login form buttons. It's gonna be login button and cancel button. So now I can replace in my custom expression using this symbol menu items. And in this case, we will use login form buttons. Oops. See how that works. Let's open the report. Now you see this statement has changed. Now we use groups, and that is reflected in the report as well. Though on actual elements, you do see the name of actual element. So you see that the login form buttons group, it actually verifies the login button together with the cancel button. And the menu items group, it verifies all these menu items. Which is cool because using the custom rules together with groups, you can create a very readable layout test, and actually you can make it minimal. Now let me check another thing. So we have written the expression to test the horizontal alignment, but you see some elements have vertical alignment, and also the login and cancel button on mobile, they are aligned vertically. Let's also test that. Here's what I'm going to do. I will change the expression, I will write another rule. I can just copy paste it. Let's say are aligned vertically. So then it's not next, but above each other. With some margin, and then I will change this one to vertically, and this one will be changed from left up to above. So let's say that on desktop, login form buttons are aligned horizontally, but on mobile, we copy this expression and change it, are aligned vertically above each other. Let's see how that works. We have an error. Oh yeah, it's 10 pixels. Whatever, let's change that. We can say approximately 10 pixels, and it also should work. So here you can see it on the mobile layout, it has checked the vertical alignment using the custom rule, and it has generated the correct specs. Now the interesting part, how do we optimize layout tests for all these elements? First of all, we have the login caption, we have the username text field, the password text field. Let's group them. So for instance, on the desktop tablet, as you can see, we have the horizontal buttons alignment, but the form fields have vertical alignment. But at the same time on mobile, all of the fields in the login panel are aligned vertically. And that's exactly what we can write there in our layout tests. So first of all, let me just write some validations, and then I will create groups for that. First of all, for login form fields, it's gonna be login caption, username, text field, and password text field. Okay, now we can use it here on desktop. Login form fields are aligned vertically above each other. So I do know already that there is going to be a bigger margin than 10 pixels here, so I will just put a wider range because I don't really care that much about it. So let's say 10 to 17 pixels. On mobile, instead of login form buttons, I will change it. I'll just say all login form elements. Let's create that group. Login form elements. And what is interesting, I can actually match another group within the group. It's gonna be like this: login form fields and login form buttons. And I need to change this login form buttons on mobile layout to all login form elements. Now let's see if this works. We have an error, different margin. So password text field is above login button. Okay, 20 pixels instead of 10. So we can put a bigger margin there, or we can also Or maybe it's actually a bug and we need to update the website. It doesn't really matter. The point is, custom rule is an awesome feature. So it's on mobile. It should be from 10 to 20 pixels. Let's run it one more time to make it best. Okay, that works. So as you can see, we have covered a lot of elements, and we only have written 2 expressions for these elements. So this is the end of the video tutorial, and I think this is enough for this video. And I hope you're gonna like it and you will try it on your test projects, and you will come up with all your own ideas and implement your own validations. And I hope this feature will help you. Thanks for watching.